Good morning, everyone, and welcome. This is Joe Scarice at the Creative Bird Strategies podcast and on Clubhouse. I'm here to provide, hopefully, some great education, networking, and opportunities. What I'm really excited about is we're the only Clubhouse room that offers a full-blown podcast live on Spotify, and Apple, Amazon, um, YouTube, Facebook. We bring education, we bring networking, we bring opportunities. It's just I'm really happy where everything is going with the podcast, everything going with the events. Um, you know, Today's subject I think ties into a lot of things. We're coming into our second quarter, and I think you really need to kind of focus because you came out of the stable coming in January. Hey, we're gonna kick some ass, and then all of a sudden things just kind of slow down. You get distracted. You get rerouted. Things happen with your company. Things happen with life. You got to just So sitting down and resetting goals, to me, I find it quite ironic. I set goals every day. I set goals every week. I don't look for New Year's to be my ultimate reset of goal settings because it's a new year. I look at it as a new week, new day, new opportunity. I try to focus on the positive and lessen the distraction. Sometimes I just ignore. Sometimes it doesn't make a lot of sense to involve, but I stay very consistent in what I do, very continuous with what I do. Kind of ties in with religion a little bit. You go to church. You can go to church. You know, it's a matter of going every day. Church is in your head every day, not every just on Sundays. So, to me, goal setting or business goal setting is a daily thing. I was telling somebody at an event the other night. If you do something, whatever it is, exercise, meditate, something healthy every day for 18 minutes, you're doing more than 90% of the people around you on a day-to-day basis. That says a lot. So, from a goal setting perspective, I think goals are very important. I think strategy is very important. And I think being in reality of what's really in front of us is important. So, um, I always, first I want to recognize our sponsors, which can't, I wouldn't be here without them. One, I want to thank Perkatech, Yardell Perkins, our social media strategist, are pretty much our backbone to our podcast, our social media strategy, our upcoming event here in Philadelphia. I call him the Oz behind the drape. I always thank him. Real Need 411, Linda Pelagas, our national publication, who provides insight through her publication. And we collaborate with her in events throughout the country: LA, Denver, Dallas, Fort Lauderdale, Philadelphia, New York. Very excited about that collaboration as well. And also MB Capital, your referral partner with unsecured business lines of credit. And then also Lendmark Capital, where I am a asset-based lender and senior loan advisor to provide you insight and strategy in the asset-based lending space as a real estate investor. So let's dive into goal setting. And the most prolific thing that I think of when I think of goal setting over and over and over again is one, some of this stuff has to be old school. You got to have your calendar book. You got to have business cards. People say, "Oh, business cards are not the 21st century." Let me tell you something. The turtle will always beat the hare. I always have a business card on me. I'm always meeting and greeting somebody. I'm always following up with somebody. Everybody I meet gets a follow-up email and a connection on LinkedIn. Don't need to connect with them on Facebook as much. I focus on the LinkedIn space because that's where business is done. Facebook is a little more personal. Yeah, people want to connect with me. Yeah, that's great. But I really believe LinkedIn is the backbone to all business. So anybody listening below, if you don't have a solid LinkedIn, better go get that fixed. I don't care what happened, what the story is, fix it. And then two, connect with me. Three, follow with me. Let's do some collaborations together. But let's get into the goal setting real quick here. Setting smart goals. One of the most important things you can achieve your business goal is to make sure they are smart goals. SMART is an acronym that stands for specific. Your goal should be very clear and detailed, not vague. Measurable. You should be able to quantify your goals so you can track progress. Achievable. Goals should be challenging but attainable, but not unrealistic. Relevant. Goals should align with overall business objectives and strategies. Time bound. Every goal needs a deadline. Setting a time frame creates accountability. Identify a target date or quarter. So let me say, I'll go over some of my realistic goals. I'm very specific. I'm in the asset-based lending space. I'm a direct private lender. I don't do anything owner-occupied. I don't work on commercial office retail. I don't work on restaurants. I know exactly what I work on. I work on 30-year fixed money, single family through four family. I work on fixed to rent or fixed to flip, single family through four family. I work on 30-year fixed money for 5 units through 25 units. I work on fixed to rent, fixed to flip on 5 through 25 units. I work on new construction. I work on unsecured business lines of credit. I work on blanket loans. I blanket multiple properties at the same time. I'm also an agency lender on 25 units and above. Everything must have residential basis to it. There could be a commercial blend. It's either a 30% rentable square footage rule or 49% rentable square footage rule. I don't do anything else. I focus. Okay. I'm very specific. I'm also measurable. Okay. I want to focus in certain markets, the top metro markets throughout the country. Okay, I want to go after the top rental markets. I want to follow them. I want to attend the right events that have the right people in the room at the right time. There's 3 or 4 events you can go every night of the week. Be measurable to what type of event you want to be in and who you want to surround yourself with. And then achievable goals that need to be challenging. I like to meet at least 100 to 200 people a week, whether it's through networking, whether it's through inbound lead generation, through marketing, whatever I'm doing. I want to meet some. My goal is really 200 people a week, and so if I look at 200 people times 4, that's 800 people. I look at a 20% return on my time in meeting those people, turning them into deals or opportunities or relationships or referral partners. That's a pretty damn good return. And it needs to be, the goals need to be relevant, right? I don't want to be in a room with people that don't do what I do. I'm very specific. I want to go to investor group meetings. I've talked to my executive director and my board. I told them I'm not interested in going to these big lending events that are held in our industry. Why do I need to go hang out with people that I already know? That's something for the big boys. Okay. I like staying under the radar. I want to meet investors all day, all night. Real estate agents, real estate investors, service providers within the investor space of what I do. I'm very relevant and time bound. Time, I try to time everything. So, like, example, Monday night, I'm going to be at an event locally in South Jersey. Tuesday, I leave for Boston. I get to the event Tuesday night. Guess what? I found another event on Wednesday night with another group of people that I know already. So I'm going to be there Tuesday, Wednesday, network with a couple hundred people, come back Thursday, hit another event in another area of Central South Jersey. Friday, I have an event in Baltimore. Boom, it's the podcast again. There you go. I've met what, 200-300 people. I've networked with people. I've created relationships. I've done follow-ups. I've introduced them to some of my referral partners. So these are very time-bound, relevant, achievable, and measurable specific goals. And that's what you need to jump on board with. Good morning, Joseph. Welcome. Brief overview who you are, what you do, and thoughts to the discussion. Ultimate guide to business goal setting strategies.
Hey, good morning, Joe. One of my weak topics here, but I'm a buy and hold investor. I have several rentals in and out of state. Also do a little bit of private money lending and investing tax liens in New Jersey. This was actually, believe it or not, my first year that I actually wrote my goals down. And you talk about specific and measurable, right? Generally you just write, hey, I want to do X. Well, in this year I actually wrote, this is where I'm at and this is where I want to be. And I wrote it not just for business, right, but for personal growth. One's taking a college level certificate course. stock account is X amount of dollars, and I want to increase it by this amount. Rental portfolio. I have this many rentals, and I want to increase it by that many rentals. So made it extremely specific so I could actually look and attain it. I actually put in my goals, believe it or not, to meet up with childhood friends, right? Sometimes you grow apart, but bringing you back to where your roots were really plays a good mental health role. So I had that in my goals, like every other month, make a grab lunch with a childhood friend. So goals could be not just for business, right? But they should be for personal growth as well.
Joe, you brought up something that hits home to me. So, as you know, I'm a stroke survivor now, almost 5 years, May 15th, 2019. One thing I did following that, I do what I say and I say what I do. Meaning, if I say that I'm going to be somewhere and meet with you, guess what? We're going to meet somewhere. If we're going to have coffee, we're going to grab coffee. I'm not going to suddenly blow you off. And you know what? We get into that habit because we get so consumed with getting things done. We don't know where to set boundaries to keep open lines of communication with friends and family and business associates. Have you found that as an issue for you with people in our industry?
Well, yeah, in this industry, in my professional industry, right? It's hard to have that connection because generally, you work more than you spend time with your family and your friends, right? So, you're looking for that common denominator, and next thing you know, you wind up all about work. And all work is no play makes Jack a dull boy, right?
Yeah. Yeah, but again, you notice this in life. People just get caught up with stuff. You got to prioritize your goals. Right? Impact and effort matrix. You got to come up with a prioritization framework. Goals are mapped and identify dependencies. Review goals to identify dependencies. Some goals cannot be accomplished until others are achieved first. So many people we meet at events. I want to wholesale. I want to buy a single family through four family. I want to own a multifamily by the end of the year. Don't you often hear that when you go to these events? Like, don't you find that unrealistic?
Well, yeah, because there's a lot of factors that they're not going to be able to 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 master or get over, right? The obstacles that are there, and listen, I had someone who lived in their mother's basement said, "Oh, I'm not investing in small time real estate. I'm going to do family acquisitions." They're still living in their mother's basement 2 years later, right? Um, your goals have to be realistic. I mean, it's great to shoot for the stars, and then you end up with the moon or whatever that saying goes. But I mean, you have to be realistic, right? They talk about smart, measurable, achievable, and attainable. So that might be a goal 10 years down the road, which would be realistic. But a goal of just, hey, I'm going to have a 200 unit apartment building right out the start. That's just not happening, right? I mean, not saying it's never been done, but it's just not. It's just not something that that is it's not the average, right? It's maybe the exceptional, but it also goes to the social media. These people are watching, right? The kids with the rented Ferraris and saying what they have without any validation. So, yeah, I think that's what winds up happening.
Yeah, I mean, I ultimately see some of these younger groups coming together, and I just went to a great event Friday night. I've never, what I really enjoyed about it. Everyone was really humble for a younger group of people, younger professionals. I mean, you got a couple guys that have some egos that need to be tamed, but whatever, that's fine for them. They got to battle with themselves. I really enjoyed it. Everybody was really jovial. Everybody was really humble to talk to. It wasn't like playing high school, like uh, who was favorites or nothing like that. It was really well balanced, and the discussions were engaging. Like I have at least 3 or 4 follow up calls on the way to brunch today with a couple of people that followed up with me on Friday night. You got to weigh against, you got to weigh your cost benefit. I could have went home Friday night after being out on the road Thursday, but I said, you know what? I want to go to this event. I'm only 200 feet away from it where I'm staying. I checked in, got myself ready, had myself my dinner. I was ready to go. Yeah, but by 9 o'clock, listen, I was there from 6:30 to 9 o'clock. I mean, how many more people can you talk again to, right? So you got to weigh out your cost benefit analysis to everything, right? It's got what it's going to cost you and how it benefits you. And I learned that years ago in cost accounting class. But I weigh that out every single event or engagement every day. I mean, if I'm going to sit down with somebody, I want to make the most of that. I want them to walk away with tools and opportunities to set their action plan, and hopefully I'm part of that action plan, right? I want to talk in a we basis when it comes to setting goals, and hopefully motivating them or rejuvenating them to give them insight and breaking down their goals in more in a smaller steps, setting timelines, assigning ownership to what has already happened. Okay, there's nothing you can do, whether good or bad, that happened yesterday. All you could do is what you can focus on moving forward. Monday's a new week. Get it rolling. All the other stuff is bullshit. List the resources that you need, build out milestones, identify the risks, and schedule regular reviews, but also set boundaries. If I'm not available, I'm not taking your call. It's just not going to happen. I'll message you, I'll call you when I can. Joe, any thoughts to, like, you built out this event with Marcus in the past year? Newer investors, experienced investors, what do you think the ultimate piece of goal setting that's missing with these individuals when you go to these events? What is missing? And then we'll go on to Justin.
Uh, I don't know if there's something specifically that's missing, right? I mean, the event that we have, it's general conversation, but it could be action on some individuals' parts, right? It could be fear. Definitely plays a role, right? The question of the unknown. Uh, it's also, listen, as real estate investors, we don't do the traditional stuff, right? So this isn't what your mama taught you, right? This is you're buying property. You got a ton of money on the line, and you're renting it out, or you're fixing and flipping it, and you're going to encounter issues, and that's just the fear of the unknown. So getting out of the traditional mindset seems to be a challenge too, right? A lot of people are focused on, I need to have my team before I can go buy a property. Well, sometimes that just doesn't work, right? A contractor is not going to invest time in someone who doesn't have a job for them. So there's some things that you just can't line up when you're in your really beginning stages, right? And that's when you lean on the other investors and what they're doing and who they use and how they get things done. I do think that people don't follow up, right? There's a lot of networking that goes out there. I just don't understand, some of it. Oh, I'm just so busy. I don't have time to call you and ask you a bunch of questions. I just don't understand how people are so busy, right? I mean, I have a full-time job. I have several rental units. Now I'm closing on another property, and I have 10, 15 minutes to sit down, or a half hour to sit down and have a cup of coffee with you and talk about what it is. But if that person is so busy, well, then I just don't get it. So I think maybe it's a time management issue if you want to start talking about it. But that's just really what comes to mind real quick on the things that we encounter. I also think that people have a different thought process on what an investor looks like, right? What does a millionaire look like, right? Should they be driving the flashy cars, and should they be, having the fancy shoes and belt and wearing the $3,000 or $4,000 get up? to talk, because that's what's presented to them. Um, I explained to someone what my net worth was, and they said, "You're not worth that." I said, "Okay," and then I actually showed them on paper because I don't dress with. I don't drive the Ferrari. I drive a Ram 1500 that's from 2019, right? And I don't look that hard, but um, people don't believe that my net worth, and that's okay. I don't need to impress anybody, but I know what I'm worth, right? So they have this image in their head that it's from the social media. I'm assuming on what they should be doing. I just went to an event in January. There's people that own 60, 70, 80 units. There was an individual that had 120 units. They still have full-time jobs. So a lot of these images are, I'm a real estate investor. I should be doing this full time. I shouldn't have to work at 9 to 5. And I think that's also another misconception.
It's funny you say that, because a mentor of mine from years ago made a very good point. Busy people return all calls, all emails. Busy people don't talk about being busy. They just get it done. They just do it through their emotions. Like, I'm not a big fan of letting people know about different type of closings. I let people just know that I'm closing. Okay, I don't need to go into the specifics. Okay, because I'm too busy for that. I'm more focused on education, inspiration, and motivation to attract the inquiry to build strategy with like-minded real estate professionals. Know how to spend your time, set your priorities, use a planning tool, right? I have people I have to get back to give updates for April, for May, for June. I'm scheduling now events in regards to the CE course that I'm teaching throughout the country on asset-based lending. Now I got to be very specific. Okay, everything is about timing, right? Get organized. If you're not, don't worry about it. That's yesterday. Right now, you got to focus on staying and getting organized. Schedule appropriately. Delegate. Get help from others, and stop procrastinating.
Right. And one thing I want to get out there, John, we're going to get a little personal, right? Before your stroke, did you have time to go to the gym?
I did, but I didn't treat my body correctly.
But you told people, I'm too busy. I don't have time to go to the gym.
I go every morning now, 6 a.m., 7 a.m. I'm there.
Now you go.
Yep.
But before your stroke, you didn't go.
No, I didn't listen.
But your excuse back then was that you're too busy. I'm still too busy to go to the gym, right? Because I didn't have that realization, and I didn't prioritize it yet, right? So it's just, if you really want to do something, where there's a will, there's a way. You'll make the time for it.
Well, I agree. Get up earlier. And this is another thing. Manage your time wasters. Manage your time wasters. Reduce and eliminate time spent in activities by implementing some simple tips with there. Okay, you need to manage those anvils that are trying to stop you from succeeding. Avoid multitasking. Get one thing done at a time, and ultimately stay healthy. You got to stay healthy. Drink your water. Water is the best vitamin in the whole wide world. Drink about 9 containers of them every day. All right, that's the best vitamin. Meditate. Pray. Whatever you need to do to justify your mindset to be balanced. Good morning, Justin. Welcome. Brief overview: who you are, what you do, and thoughts to our discussion this morning. Ultimate guide to business goal setting strategies.
Oh, good morning, Joe, man. Guys, really on point this morning with that. I think it all is going to come down to the decision you make and how you time. I'm finding that out firsthand, and everybody has all these secrets to the trade and all these ways to find these deal and make this deal work and all of that. But honestly, when I find right just through trial and error, my most focused moments are when I get the most accomplished, right? What the estimates I had to do some kind of extensive underwriting. I had to break down the total cost, not the underwriting. I had to put together the scope of work for a new construction project, which kind of took a while when you're going down to the trusses and all the pieces of lumber that you're going to be bringing in, right? And so some call that a schedule. But anyways, so I was putting one of those together, and I had been putting it off for about a week. And so you know what my situation is: me trying to get back on in the swing of things, take advantage of these opportunities, projects, personal stuff got to me, and it changed my mood for the evening. That was the evening I was supposed to do it, and just one excuse after another. Finally, I got up and did it day before yesterday, and sent it over to my investor, who's going to be helping me with the bill. And he was like, "Justin, this is perfect. I'm glad you finally did it." But I could have gotten that gratification a week earlier. Had a little bit more peace with my week, and the peace is what really helps me focus and move to the next thing. You have to open mind. You have to keep certain levels of confidence doing this stuff because it's problem solving. And man, to take on the challenge of solving a problem, I think you really need to be confident and know where you're going and you have your knowledge base right, because we don't jump on this journey and then not have some kind of idea about where we want to end up. And so I think that's another thing that, as I mentioned before, not constantly changing, but it does make some adjustments every now and again, depending on opportunity I might run across, skills that I might pick up, or something that I think would help me. So, just like I said, knowing an overall direction, but being able to pivot in the game of change, I think that's key.
Well, funny enough, I'm actually doing I'm going to be putting together a luncheon for the event for the Realty 4-in-1 Investor Summit on the Friday before. Okay, since we're having the event on Saturday, it's going to be invite only to anybody that's registered to the event, and then once I know either people are coming or not coming, then I'll extend it to the public. We're gonna do a breakdown of the real estate investor mindset. All right, we're gonna break it down. We're gonna peel that onion and see what's underneath. Okay, and guess what? We might not like what we see, but we're gonna fix that. We're gonna get everything in order for you, and hopefully put it in the right direction. I'm not charging anybody. There's no fee. There's no book at the end of the back of the room. I'm there. I'm going to be there to provide, hopefully, help and assistance in direction. You might not want to listen, okay? But we're going to try to put it together. And you know what? I'm going to get something out of it, right? Why am I going to do it? Because I'm going to get something out of it, something inside, right? I'm going to set my own company's vision and short-term and long-term goals at that room. I'm going to hold myself accountable, right? Where you're going to hold yourself accountable, and we're going to celebrate those milestones. Hopefully together, maybe not all together, and that's okay. You need to improve the culture around you and the type of events you're going to, the type of mindset, the type of postings that you're putting out there. You're putting out positive or negative energy one way or another on your social media buckets and the people around you. Expand your online presence. We're going to talk about that. How do you expand your online presence and keep it under control? And how do you profit and create revenue from that inbound inquiry? Improving satisfaction with people that you're working with. And expanding your power team and utilizing other professional services in your space. These are things you need to think about because there's pitfalls too, right? Pitfalls, goals feel mandated and disconnected from organizational strategy, right? Goals are made in a silo without consideration of interdependencies. Goals are set at the top of the year, then become irrelevant and forgotten. That's why we're having this discussion today, going into the second quarter. Where have you been this first quarter? Where should you be going in the second quarter? Goals emphasize short-term successes more than long-term outcomes. Despite an abundance of resources on goal setting, we still need to see effective goals used at work. The science is conclusive that what great goals look like, but common pitfalls still get in the way. Implementing the antidotes to to help your team and yourself together, I think bring better organizational performance and people performance. Joe, some thoughts to that in regards to Ultimate Guide to Business Goal Setting Strategies?
Sorry, I was on the other line. So peak performance was the last I heard, Joe.
Yep.
Yeah. Listen, again, it just goes back to the basics, right? If your goals are actionable, attainable, and you're kicking yourself into the right direction, you're going to get to your peak performance, right? I mean, again, it goes into where there's a will, there's a way. If you have time, you can make time for your stuff, right? If you're looking at cat videos on YouTube, sorry for the cat lovers in the room, right? But if you're sitting down wasting looking at cat time, cat videos on YouTube, that's a waste of time, right? You could do something where it's just as relaxing watching YouTube on something that's educational, right? At the end of the day, we're all here talking about real estate. It should be a passion of yours. It shouldn't be, just a job. Because I mean, I love real estate investing, right? It's not just a means to an end. It's just the passion that I have, right? But if it was a job, I'm not going to be that great of an investor. So, you should be doing something that's just as somewhat, I would say, entertaining, but fruitful as well.
Hey, Joe, setting your goals for the year ahead or quarter ahead or week ahead or the day ahead creates a solid foundation for your digital marketing activities, including organic social media, email marketing. Like Yardell and I, we are very strategic. We changed our strategy in email blasting. We only email a specific subject out per blast. And our open rate has improved immensely. We're at like 60 or 70% open rate. Okay. So we're very focused on what we're doing. And we're just throwing shit up on the wall and hope it sticks, right? Embarking on this journey of planning and goal setting, you have to embrace the more dynamic and responsive approach. You got to be very calculated, right? Organizing your finances, of course, and knowing what everything is costing to keep the lights on. Analyzing activities for business impact, reflecting on past activities. Did that event make sense to go to? Like somebody told me, hey, that one guy holds an event in so and so. I was talking to him Friday night. I'm like, I'm never going back to that event. There's no fish in that pond. He just looked at me. He's like, whoa. I'm like, yeah, man. I don't fish in ponds that don't have fish. So you need to go after the right ponds. You don't keep going back to an event that's not bearing any return. Like I was involved, Yardell and I were involved with sponsoring an event on a Monday night, it's the third Monday of the month. Really nice guy, nice venue, but nobody in the room was doing anything. It was a waste of my time. I could be better off just sitting home getting more work done. You got to weigh out the cost benefit relationship to attending events and or going to different subject matters to enhance your business, right? You need to really pencil that down. Sometimes paying to go to an event weeds out all the bullshitters and the time wasters. And understanding how to overcome these obstacles, right? How do you justify making money in our industry? There's so many revenue streams that can be had. And most of you are not taking advantage of those opportunities. I can tell you that for a fact. Visualize your future, right? Visualize what that should look like. What type of revenue do you need to be at? A realistic number every month to keep the lights on, right? And break those goals down to see how you can create those revenue streams. Mastering time management that we talked about already is you need to be effective, right? You got to use tools to help organize and prioritize your tasks. Balance performance and administrative tasks. Like I think it was a Tuesday night. I sponsored a happy hour, and somebody said, "Hey, who puts in all those email introductions that you do to all those people you meet with all the business cards?" I'm like, "Me." I wanted them to feel that it came personal. It was customized. So my ass is up at 6 in the morning. I go to the gym. 7 in the morning, I got 20 or 25 cards. Everyone's getting a personalized email because I wrote little notes in the back of the cards, and I made it very personal of how I met them and why I'm doing a follow up to them. Make it personal in a good way, a positive light. They'll remember that. If they don't, that's okay. You did the right thing. And regularly review and adapt to things that are not working and not doing the same thing. Like I said, Joe and I met through South Jersey Investors Group, right? I don't go to every event. I don't need to. They already know me. I'll be very selective where it's cost benefit for my time. Right? Tomorrow, Monday night, a friend of mine is speaking. I'll go to that event because Tuesday morning I'm leaving for Boston. So I'm not going to travel heavy on Monday. Doesn't make a lot of sense. I got a bunch of calls, bunch of submissions. I got to be at the gym, take care of my health, and get ready to go on Tuesday. We're taking the train up to Boston. Get to Boston by 3 o'clock. Boom. Get to the hotel. Go to the event by 6:30. Network till 9. Get back up in the morning on Wednesday. I think there's a breakfast meeting I might go to. Maybe not. I'll get some work done from all the follow-ups. Wednesday night there's an early evening event from 5 to 7. Boom. I'm back on the train on Thursday. I'm back here in my market. I already have the week planned out. Learn from your failures. Embrace failure as part of your learning process. It's better to try and fail gaining valuable insights than not to try at all. Joe, any thoughts to our discussion so far in regards to Ultimate Guide to Business Goal Setting Strategies?
No, man, you hit it on the head, right? You plan your stuff out, you maximize your time, and you get things done, right? So, no, you've planned everything out, Joe.
So, I'll cut this a little early today just because it's Easter and I want everybody to be able to spend time. I know Justin is in church, so we can't go back to him as well. But take space for your planning. Give your team space for planning, right? Plan out multiple scenarios. Hang on 1 second. Somebody tried raising their hand and I don't see where they are. It's okay. We'll try to find them again. Be firm on macro. Be open to path on micro. Increase your cash threshold. So again, if you need to sit down and figure out how to create revenue stream, I can teach you. It's not that hard. It's not that complicated. There's a lot of referral programs that are out there that you can make money with. And review with your power team. A mentor, a coach, a trusted colleague. Seek guidance and feedback on your plans. An outside perspective can help you identify blind spots and refine your strategies. Regularly reviewing your plans with a mentor or coach, an extra layer, it really provides and adds an extra layer of accountability. Like who I directly report to, JP, I can bounce shit off of him and feel pretty comfortable of not feeling that I'm asking a stupid question. I'm asking the right questions to be strategic to get my head clear. Okay, I don't hide anything. I put it right in front of him, and then we have a call maybe once a day, once every other day, just to go catch up on different scenarios that we need to go over. I also have discussions with the VP of processing to make sure all the files are moving across the board correctly. I mean, proud to say that I submitted over 54 loans this past quarter. 64 loans. Since I think in the past quarter, about 5 to 8 million a month. So ultimately, about $24 million in loan origination. But since being at Lendmark, about 64 loans have been submitted, single family through 4 family. Some other stuff is going on. So it's really a healthy environment. But you gotta control that. That's just me with a team and putting loans in. So I got to make sure I'm setting priorities and goals with everybody correctly. The right title company, the right process, the right paperwork, the right application, the right property, the right appraisal being ordered, the right rehab, There's a lot of moving parts, and you got to just take one email at a time, one call at a time, one follow up at a time. You can't do 2 follow ups at the same time. You will fail. You will fail. You got to look at what your strengths and build and enhance. You got to look at your weaknesses. You got to resolve and reduce. You got to look at your opportunities and you got to exploit and expand. You got to look at your threats and avoid and thwart. Prioritize your initiatives. Build your strategy to implement each initiative. It's very important because I'm telling you, this is a humongous opportunity. When there is chaos, and there is chaos, and there's chaos to come, there is massive opportunity. But you need to figure out how to create those opportunities for yourself. No one's going to hold your hand across the street. We're all grown adults here, right? We're not little kids, okay? You got to focus and you got to set goals, and they got to be realistic. You don't want to be a legend in your own mind on Facebook or LinkedIn. You want to be a realistic real estate professional. And I think the luncheon that we're going to have that Friday prior to our Saturday event at Realty 411, I think it'll roll roll the sleeves up, and we'll get into some real serious elbow grease into what your mindset, how your mindset should be, or what we need to do to get that mindset in the right direction. It'll be a inexpensive luncheon. We'll probably have it at Moonshine down the block from the Mummer Museum. I'll be putting that out sometime in the next week, sending it out to the people. I think we have about 125 people registered so far. I'd like to see about 150 people. We'll push it out there, see if we get it up there. We got some great speakers, primarily all educational speakers. I think we have 10 altogether. We're going to be podcasting live the whole day from the Creative Birth Strategies podcast, which we are the only clubhouse room that has their own podcast, their own website, their own educational tools, and their own CE course that provides continuing education for licensed real estate agents and asset-based lending in the country. I wrote the module. I'm the only one that's putting that class out. It's 3 credits. If you're a licensed real estate agent below, if you're looking to recruit and build a team out with investor-friendly realtors in your downline, whoever you're working for, you want to put this class on. I come and teach it complimentary. Your title company, your property casualty insurance company, your broker buys lunch or breakfast or the happy hour to follow. I just scheduled an event April 11th in Lehigh Valley with Garrett Rhodes, who has an evening event here. We're going to probably have 100 real estate agents. I have another event I scheduled in May for another 125 real estate agents. It'll start getting out there and getting some gravity. I am teaching at some expos in the fall and the winter, so that'll grab onto a mass amount of real estate agents. But again, if that's something that a goal is to get more real estate agents to work with you because you're investor friendly, maybe this class, the CE course, you tie it in with your association, and you look like the King Kahuna, Queen Kahuna in your space by bringing somebody in to teach that CE course. I'll be more than happy to put that together with you. Let's set that plan in place. Let's make you some revenue from that opportunity. Leverage your power team. Get that power team busy. So this is, second quarter, we're rolling in hot and heavy. And you got to reset, refocus, and be accountable for your actions. Joseph, any final thoughts to our discussion this morning? We're going to cut it out early tonight in regards to Ultimate Guide to Business Goal Setting Strategies.
No, listen, great room, great discussion as usual, but you have a couple of comments in the chat. One is, I just lost it. How do I get VIP status for the 311 event? They got the early bird as soon as it was available.
Have them please email me directly. I'll loop in Linda and make sure that's addressed. The luncheon that we're having the day before it's separate, and it's just going to be invited to the database of the people that are signed up, and I might just invite some specific people as well. But please email me any of your inquiries because I don't always look at the chat, and I'm very sorry. I just didn't take a look at it this morning. And
someone said looking for insight on onboarding investors as an agent wholesaler.
Oh, I'm on the stage. I can recap it. Thank you, Joseph.
Excellent. I didn't see that you got up there. I was busy reading the
Oh, there you are. Oh, Yolanda, I didn't even see you on the stage. I'm sorry. I apologize.
No worries. Well, guys, enjoying the room as usual. I am on that VIP list for Philly. Shout out to your Eventbrite link. But I wanted to ask you guys, and we could follow up later in the week, but I wanted to build out a system, maybe a questionnaire, if you will, that I could send me in my local area who want to start investing in real estate. I have a busy schedule, not driving around for 1,000 miles to show people who aren't quite yet, right? So I just wanted to get an idea of like maybe the first three
questions
that one would be asked to kind of help vet the time that I would invest in them.
Okay, so let's break this down. So one, Yolanda, stay on mic, please. So are you there?
I'll jump in there, right? And I'll tell you, and maybe other people in the audience would disagree with this, right? But I can tell you as an investor, I know that I'm probably a real pain in the bum for realtors because, I mean, I'm a qualified buyer, right? I'm closing on my 7th rental. But to get to that rental or to get to that property that I'm buying, I'm probably looking at 30 or 40 properties, right? I'm doing the numbers make sense. But let's face it, some of these agents or the photographers they hire take really damn good pictures, and when you walk into the property, it is not what those pictures represent, right? So part of being a real estate investor is looking at things, physically, because the pictures don't always tell the story, right? Pictures not worth 1,000 words in real estate.
I like that. If I need to clarify a bit. So this investor club is like a multifaceted thing, but mainly sometimes when I'm working with like for rent by owners, I think Joseph even said this in a room 2 weeks ago, and I was like, "Yep, for rent by owners are sellers."
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm really trying to position myself to build this group. So I guess they're not necessarily the first time. So yeah, now that I'm thinking this through some. But yeah, I want to help them sell. Do you think that's that many in terms of how to vet them out? I'm talking this through as I'm speaking it, so now it's making more sense. It's really 2 different types of people. These are 2 different avatars.
All right, so let's break this down. So So are you
talk things through? You always get a better mindset, right? Whether you're talking it through with yourself or you're talking it through with other people, right? And you have a raw idea, and that's how you just refine it. So if you have 2 separate avatars, right? That's 2 separate client bases, right? I'm not an agent, so I could be off base in what I'm saying. If there's anybody in the audience. Joe just on mic, so I guess he's back. So I'm going to kick it over to him because I'm sure he can give a lot more insight on this portion than I can.
Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
All right. So, Yolanda, first, which RIA do you belong to?
None.
Oh, okay. Well, are you going to start your own?
Yes.
Okay. So, where are you based out of?
I am basically the 8 Mile corridor is where I want to focus on in Metro Detroit. So that's where all 3 counties meet is right at 8 Mile.
All right. So stay on mic first. Okay. So you want to focus on identifying a location to start creating this experience, right? And you want to schedule out yourself educational subject matter. So that's a deeper discussion, and you can't always depend on people showing up, meaning real estate professionals, to present. So you have to like all these subjects I'm coming up with, I'm scheduling out a month in advance because then I don't have to, scurry around to come up with a subject. You understand? So we could talk about that on Friday. So you got to set a tone, and you got to commit to that event. Whether 2 people show up or 30 people show up, you got to be very consistent, and then you got to come up with a marketing plan. All right, and surround yourself with that marketing plan and stay very consistent with it. Your Adele Perkins will be at the luncheon where you can meet with him and maybe talk about that strategy. He's helped me develop a social media bucket plan and goal to have that event. Then, are you a licensed realtor as well, Yolanda?
I am.
Okay, so maybe you want to look and leverage a local title company or a property and casualty insurance agent and say, listen, I want to hold this investor friendly CE course, one to maybe recruit realtors in my team or identify realtors that I want to be around in identifying opportunities for one another where we can make money together. Okay, but then open it up also to investors as well. So a lot of these associations, these investor groups that are having me teach this course, they're also inviting investors because investors want to understand asset-based lending as well, and they want to be in a room with real estate agents that are getting it. Like Joe has a problem with some realtors because they just will never get it, and then some the light bulb go on, right? So you want to help the ones that get the light bulb on and try to keep it as inexpensive for you in putting this production on to create this inbound traffic, but this buzz about you. You want to create a buzz about you. You want to walk into a room following these type of events that you're going to schedule and set for yourself. And you want to be the hostess at every event that you go to going forward. When I go into an event, I'm there a half hour early. I meet every single person that I can meet and give my business card to and get their information. And then I follow up with every single person that was willing to give me their information. I build that out through my LinkedIn, my Facebook, my Instagram. I invite them to Clubhouse, whatever I got to do to stay in front of them, to stay interesting. Right?
Yep.
So we'll talk about that on that Friday. Are you coming in the Friday or that's
Yes.
okay?
That's the plan. Mm-hmm.
Please email me and I'll loop in Linda. And are you staying at the Navy Yard?
No, but I'm all set there, I think. But yeah, I should be there in time for the Friday event.
Okay. Well, please email me, and we'll make sure we'll spend some time together to go over stuff. Also, Saturday evening we're going to have a dinner that I'm going to send out an invite to everybody back at Moonshine, and we did that last year. We went to this Radisio. Oh my gosh, it was unbelievable. We're going to try to stay more local to the event. So we're going to be getting those emails out to our registration next week. We're just trying to wait. We don't want to do it multiple times. We want to just make sure it's very precise. But we're around 125 people at the event, so I hope this helps you, Yolanda, and I'll be more than happy to help you build out that opportunity for yourself in Detroit. I think that's a great market. Listen, it's
a little bit of a island. Ironically, there's an Ann Arbor guy who's doing a great job who I think could be a model for something I'm working on.
Okay.
And then there's someone who's a little north of me, but not really much to say around here. So yeah, we'll talk some more.
Well, you join those, collaborate with those guys first, and then copy and paste and change every fifth word.
Insightful people, yep.
Yeah, the way I would do is I would copy, paste, and change every fifth word and create your own event right in between. That's how I would do it.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So this was really good. Yolanda, thanks for raising your hand. Please feel free always to come up and feel that there's an opportunity to discuss, and that's for everybody else. I mean, if you have a thought, raise your hand.
Did we lose you, Joseph?
You there?
There you are.
Okay. There's something glitchy with Clubhouse this morning. So what I would suggest is, listen, if you have a question, you have a thought, I don't always look at the chat. Come up, have a discussion with us. We're not that dangerous, okay? I think we're easygoing people. We're easygoing professionals, and we want to stay lighthearted. We want to be welcoming in this group, okay? I don't want it to be adversarial. I want it to be strategic. I want it to be very pivotal, and I want to make sure you walk away with a golden nugget every Saturday or Sunday when you tune in. And again, go to creativeburststrategies.com. That's where all our episodes are. You can go also onto YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, Amazon, Apple. I think we're also on X now. We're experimenting on X, and we might also go on to LinkedIn as well. So we're trying to get out there. We've had thousands of downloads to our podcast. So please download our podcast on Apple, or Buzzsprout, wherever Yardel's putting it out there. And if you want to have a sit down with myself and Yardell to have a video production done, a podcast done to interview you. My first podcast done on this podcast was done with Joseph Martella. He interviewed me. He's episode 1. All right. And if I can help you build your business out by putting together a video production podcast and get that out in front of your people, your circle, that also helps me. Also helps your Adele. It also helps everybody in this room, right? In building opportunities. That's goal setting. That's goal setting strategies. That's tips right there. So I want to thank everybody for their engagement this morning. Really great stuff. Great discussion. We'll be back here every Saturday and Sunday morning. Saturday morning, 8 a.m. Every Sunday morning, 9:30 a.m. We provide education, networking, and opportunities. And then let me see here. I want to wish everybody a happy Easter that follows the Roman Catholic religion. May this beautiful day be a testimony to God's love and glory. And, my quote this morning was a little different. In case you have not been adequately informed, please consider this official notification that you are awesome. Even you, Joe, you're awesome today.
I know that's on replays. I'm going to record it and play it over and over.
Over and over again. And I want to thank everybody for their chat, their discussion. Please follow up with me. If I can help you in any way in getting the word out about you in your marketing, in your opportunities, we are the only clubhouse room that has a podcast, that has marketing opportunities, that has revenue stream opportunities, that has real estate tools and strategies to underwrite and review your deals. And we now have a CE course exclusively teaching on asset-based lending. Everybody have a great Easter. Take care of yourself. We'll be back here this Saturday and Sunday of next week. Have a fantastic week. I hope these goal strategies were of great help. I want to thank our sponsors, Mr. Yardell Perkins of Perkatech. We have Realty 411 with Linda Pelagas. We have MB Capital, your unsecured business line of credit referral program, as well as we have Lendmark Capital, myself, as senior loan advisor, asset-based lender there to provide you insight to asset-based lending and investment financing. Everybody have a great Sunday. Take care of yourself. Spend some time with family and friends. I'll be ending the room in the next 30 seconds.